Hi, welcome back. My name is Cole,
And I'm Andrew.
and this is CTRL-AC.
CTRL-AC is the podcast where we talk about the hottest new tech, the skin-burning, hand-warmingly hot new tech, in the form of my titanium iPhone, apparently.
Yeah, so apparently they've been overheating, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So, our first story is, we talk about AI, I'd say fairly often, like more than most things,
Yeah.
I think.
And we've talked about ChatGPT and how crazy that is.
Oh yeah, hundreds of times.
It's kind of at the final form now. So ChatGPT can now search the web and analyze images. This is in the paid version of ChatGPT.
So So this doesn't work with the free one that has just like a GPT 3.5, I think it's
Right.
on, which is just text queries. But if you're paying for what, GPT-4, then you get these features.
It can search the web, which fixes the first problem about ChatGPT. So
Yeah.
now it knows everything. There's really, if it's on the internet, ChatGPT can find it.
It knows.
Which is crazy.
That's crazy,
So
which is what we've been waiting for with this for a while.
Now you can ask it like, hey, I heard this story in the news. Can you summarize it for me? And it will know. That's nice. That's like Bard.
Yeah.
Because Bards had that.
But way better.
But better.
Because Bard is bad.
Yeah. It can also now analyze images, which is huge.
Yeah.
So I liked a bunch of posts on X with different use cases. And this is kind of something that you don't really see the use case for until you start seeing examples. So the first one I saw, this guy used ChatGPT to build a software UI just by drawing it. So on a piece of paper, he drew "Hello World" and then a button that said "Subscribe," and took a picture of it, put it into ChatGPT, and said, "Write code for this." And then he ran the code, and it was that exact UI, which is mind-blowing.
Can it build images yet?
Like Midjourney?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It just analyzes them. But that's crazy.
That is crazy.
You can take a photo of a super complex math problem. Now you have like a upgraded Mathway or Photomath, which is crazy. It can analyze like image word problem math things, the stuff that goes viral on Twitter. There was a post from Peter Yang on X that says kids will never do homework again, and it showed the legendary piece of paper with like the 40 different multiplication problems in rows, and you just take a picture and it just lists the answers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So this, if you're a designer now, you can just draw out your UI design on your iPad or whatever and scan it, and it will write up the code for you.
That's actually crazy.
That's the kind of stuff that, you know, you dreamed about 20 years ago. Draw up a website and boom, it's there.
Yeah. Imagine how much money you can make from doing stuff like this too. Like
Yeah.
the potential is like pretty much infinite.
Kind of raises the question, is this going to take away jobs? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see, I guess.
Because somebody still has to do all these things. So like,
Someone still has to draw it.
yeah, right. So
I mean,
will this just
now
make
they
things
do.
easier?
I guess, if it works well, like 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I don't
Imagine when GPT gets a image generative
Yeah.
feature.
So it's just Midjourney.
Yeah. You can like take picture. You can like be like, fix this thing, get rid of this thing. Oh my gosh.
That would replace Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
It can analyze images. You just say, take out the person, and it does it. You don't even have to learn how to use Photoshop.
Photoshop has that feature now built in.
Yeah.
But
if ChatGPT can do it, and then what is that, like $20 a month to replace Photoshop and all these other paid services? That's kind of nice.
hop onto Fiverr, make yourself some money.
Exactly. So that's cool. We'll have to try. I haven't paid $20 or whatever it is a month for this yet. I don't really want to,
Business expense.
but I kind of want to try this. So we both play Forza.
Yeah.
We both want a racing sim.
Yeah.
But the problem is you have to have space for that. They're
Right.
humongous.
They're pretty big.
They take up a lot of space.
And if you want a good one, you basically have to build a car.
because it's like a giant metal enclosure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not anymore.
So, I mean, on Amazon, you can buy stuff like this where you just buy a cheap seat and bolt it in. But Logitech developed something specifically for their products.
Yeah.
So, it's called the Playseat Challenger or Challenge X, and it's foldable.
Playseat sounds like a toddler carrying thing.
Yeah, it does.
It's a bad name.
I mean, it looks all right. It looks better than the ones on Amazon.
Yeah, so it's like a folding chair that has a table for your Logitech wheel, and it connects to a mount for your pedals, and it's kind of an all-in-one racing sim. Cool. It's $300. It folds away. It shows someone like putting it in a little crevice between their desk and a shelf. That's kind of nice. You don't have to have a giant sim in the middle of your living room. You can just kind of break it out. If you have two of these, you can race two people in Forza for a party or something, and then just tuck them away.
Rip arcades.
Yeah.
Maybe if they made like a high-end like Challenge X Pro, and it was
Challenge
like
X Pro.
it had everything built in.
Like and the whole thing folds up.
Yeah.
With the wheel and pedals on it. That would be cool.
And like it had a computer built in, like a Nook almost, but like with a GPU built in and a display on it. That'd be cool. And like audio, that'd be pretty sick. And like a bass rumbler with an amp, so you could feel like the vibration of the car.
But still all folds up.
But all still folds up.
Yeah.
That'd
that
be cool.
would be nice. And you can feel all of that audio through your smart glasses.
From Meta.
Meta has glasses.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure who made smart glasses a while back.
Snapchat.
No, not that. The other thing. Somebody else made them and Linus reviewed them and he said they were garbage because they sat like 3 inches from his face.
I don't know, but these are smart glasses from Meta and Ray-Ban. Kind of a green flag there. These are $300, so they're twice as much as a pair of Ray-Bans, and they kind of do two things. So they have speakers in them, so it's you just like a little speaker resting close to your ear, but
Oakley
still
did this a long
off
time ago.
your ear. Yeah. So you're listening to music, but it's like far away sounding because it's not in your ear.
So it's like if you put the AirPods like a centimeter from your ear.
Yeah, and everyone else can hear your music.
Or like cheap Walmart earbuds next to your ears and like from the top.
But that's just one of the use cases. This also has a camera.
So like Snapchat's glasses.
Right. So it has a 12 megapixel camera for 12 megapixel photos, 1080p videos. You can store 500 photos and 130-second videos on the 32 gigs of internal storage that syncs with the MetaView app. So this seems fine, I guess. You can take, video from your glasses. It has on-glass AI that runs on Qualcomm's Snapdragon AR1 Gen 1 processor. The problem with this is there's a camera always on you that's made by Meta, the one company you don't want a camera from.
Right.
Privacy concern, maybe. It all syncs with the MetaView app. Some people may not like this.
A lot of people are not going to like this. I wonder what that privacy policy is going to look like when you download that app.
I don't know.
That's going to be crazy. Speaking of crazy things, you can get paid so much money to transcribe text from an audio thing. Welcome to Spotify's auto-generated transcripts for podcasts.
So now Spotify will use AI to automatically type out transcripts to a bunch of podcasts. The the transcript text will be live synced to the podcast.
See, that's cool.
Which is like when you're listening to a song and you can follow the lyrics in real time. That's kind of cool. So if you're, I'm trying to think of a use case. If you're hearing impaired, you can read the podcast.
Yeah.
At the pace, of which they're talking.
Or if you just like want to watch a podcast but don't have headphones on you and you're in a public space.
Right. There you go.
Turn the volume down and read it.
The one problem with this is we don't know how accurate this is. So there's a chance that it could just like really mess up.
I mean, Spotify's transcripts are good because their lyrics are transcribed, right?
I don't know. I thought those were a third party thing.
They might be. Oh yeah, by Genius, I think.
Yeah, it says that at the bottom.
Yeah,
So
lyrics.
I don't know. I don't know if like if you have a strong accent or something, if it'll just not know what you're saying. So you may want to like go back and re-listen to a part of it if
Yeah.
it looks like
A bunch of
they
random
probably
words.
didn't say that.
So kind of a little problem.
So some people may like to still listen to the podcast on their Meta glasses, but when you're done with the not so immersive experience of just the glasses, you can strap on your whole new headset with the Meta Quest 3.
So the MetaQuest 2 came out.
A while ago, right?
Yeah, wasn't it 2020?
I think so. It was a couple years ago. But the Meta Quest 3 is out. It got a pretty big spec bump. It has the Snapdragon XR Gen 2 processor, 8 gigs of RAM. Meta says it has twice the graphics performance over the Quest 2.
If that's true, that's insane because the Quest 2 was good.
Was it really? I've never used a Quest 2. I've
Yeah.
only used the Rift.
It's impressive for the low price. For $300, it's impressive.
It has a blended mode thing like Vision Pro. We have to mention Vision Pro while talking about this. But it has that so you can see the real world surroundings.
But is it as nearly as good as the Vision Pros?
Definitely not. It doesn't have the large tracking ring thing that the past Quests have had. So instead it's infrared trackers that track your position.
Oh, so wait, like are they on the device or do you have to put them somewhere else?
No, it's built in. Like
Okay.
it's infrared stuff. Which is nice, I guess, if the rings were a problem before. The main thing that you can do with this though is still play games. That's
Yeah.
still the pitch.
It's still a gaming console headset.
Yeah. Which is fine if the Vision Pro didn't exist.
Right.
This is only $500. Vision Pro is almost
3,000.
7 times as much, $3,500.
Yeah.
But that's like a lifestyle device.
That's an entire computer on your head. Like you have a MacBook Air strapped to your face
Yeah.
with like insane quality and insane
You have a
features.
camera too. You have a 3D face camera.
You have a lot of feature. I think the Vision Pro is justified for the price for where it is in like the timeline
Yeah.
of the Earth.
And
Like,
you
I think it's justified.
And you can still play games, right? Can you? You can play games on that?
I don't think they've released any actual
There will be though.
data on
Asphalt
gaming.
9 will be on there at launch
No, Asphalt 10 is gonna launch on the Vision Pro.
as an exclusive.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? That'd be fun though.
That would be fun.
On M2.
Hop on your Logitech Challenge
Oh
X.
no. The Playtime X,
The Playseat X.
Playseat X.
Playseat Challenge X. There we go.
What kind of name is? Sounds like a car. What's funny is that M3 is supposed to come out like in 6 months or something, and Vision Pro will launch with M2, so it's already outdated.
Watch them just slap the M3 in it.
They can't overclock it. Things on your face. We know there are recent problems with overheating.
Mom, my headset's getting hot. Speaking of hot, we will get back to you about hot things after the break. The Control-AC is sponsored by The Complete Backyard. The Complete Backyard is an outdoor living space design and build company. So that means that they design and build your dream backyard and work with you every step of the way to get there. They specialize in outdoor spas, pools, cabanas, kitchens, etc. If you want to reach out for a consultation, you can go to thecompletebackyard.com. Andrew's whole family got the new iPhone 15, and there's been lots of overheating problems, not just with them, but with pretty much everybody who's owned this phone.
And they're all reported by a bunch of people on Twitter, X. This kind of happens now every time there's a new Apple product. Whenever the M2 MacBook Air came out, which I have, everyone said, oh, it overheats like crazy. It's a terrible product. Don't buy it. And I didn't really see those problems. I'm not constantly like running through ProRes, but
And editing video outside.
yeah, I didn't have any of those problems though. Everyone's saying that the 15 Pro overheats. It does. It has for me. But it's not as bad as everyone's saying it is, if that makes sense.
Name a phone that doesn't overheat with excessive use.
Well, yeah, they all do.
Yeah, exactly. They all overheat.
everyone's saying that the iPhone needs vapor cooling chambers and like a different structural like design inside the phone to make it not overheat, I mean, why not? If you can do it.
Because it adds thickness to the phone. That's the problem.
But we're professionals. We own the Pro phones. We want vapor cooling. That's pretty professional. So the cause of this for everyone on X was when they're on a call with someone, or they're using maps, or they're taking video or something like that, and also Instagram. Everyone was saying Instagram made the phone run really hot.
Honestly, it might just be a whole placebo thing. You just feel more temperature when you think about it.
Well, Apple released a statement, and they said it was because of third-party apps, not because of them at all.
Right.
Apparently. Sure. It's definitely not because of A17. It draws more power than last year. A17 is crazy powerful. It's pushing M1 level performance.
In a phone.
In a phone. So that's going to overheat a little bit. So they pushed out an update, 17.0.3, which I've used for a couple of days, and the overheating's kind of gone. So Apple said it was because of apps like Instagram, Uber, and Asphalt 9, which is funny because Asphalt 9 is like
old.
Basically an Apple app, though.
Yeah.
Like it's in all the keynotes. And
it's old. Like it's like almost 5-6 years old.
Maybe I know. I low-key kind of want Asphalt 10.
Yeah. When is that coming out?
I have no idea. They're on 9. Like they've done 9 of them, but the 10th one is just taking a really long time.
They're not changing anything.
It's gonna be
the same microtransaction game with some new cars.
You're right. It's a Vision Pro exclusive.
Yeah,
and I cannot. We need to walk into an Apple store and buy a Vision Pro just to do Asphalt 9.
And then go and return it
or
and
Asphalt
said we
10.
didn't like Asphalt 10. So you didn't really struggle with your phone overheating that much. And every phone I've ever owned has overheated at some point. I had a 12 mini. That phone was tiny, not a lot of cooling capability in that phone. And that it only really overheated when playing a game or taking video, which every phone overheats when taking video. It's a lot to encode at a time.
Right. Especially when we're shooting in 4K 60.
Yeah, right.
It overheated for me once, and I was like, this is annoying because it throttled the refresh rate and it throttled the brightness. But then again, want to know what I was doing? I was driving to Chick-fil-A on my lunch break with the Chick-fil-A app open.
Dude, I don't know why restaurant apps are so intense.
It was the Chick-fil-A app open using navigation, Apple Maps open using navigation, and I was on a call with someone.
Oh.
And that like blew through my thermal ceiling and throttled the phone really fast. I haven't tried that again on 17.0.3. I guess I should just to see what it is. Also, it's like 95 degrees outside, or it was last week whenever it was overheating.
Which is a hot ambient temperature.
Right. And all of the people on Twitter who are posting about this, a lot of them live in California, which is still
a
not
hot state.
It's not exactly cold right now. So maybe that has, maybe the weather has a little bit to do with it.
You know what the weather doesn't have to do with, though? Not being able to develop apps for an Apple product on a $50,000 Apple product.
I genuinely cannot express how bad I feel for anyone who spent $50,000
ready to develop apps for the Vision Pro
on a Mac Pro. So if this is the Intel Mac Pro.
Mm-hmm.
So if you bought a $50,000 Mac Pro in 2019, your heart was broken in 2020 when M1 came out and you saw that the single core scores were exactly what your Mac Pro was putting out. And this is the $1,000 MacBook Air that you could have bought 50 of.
Yeah.
So then your heart was further broken when Mac Studio came out and crushed your $50,000 Mac Pro
for $3,000.
For $3,000. I genuinely feel so bad for these people who bought the Afterburner cards for it and all of the storage expansion, 1.5 terabytes of RAM, just to lose to a MacBook Pro.
MacBook Air.
If you finance that computer, you're probably still paying it off.
You could buy like 3 Honda Civics for the price of that computer.
It's $50,000. You can buy a fully loaded Mac Studio, a MacBook Pro, and a car.
You can get iPad. You can get the 11-inch iPad Pro.
You get the whole Apple lineup.
The entire
every
lineup.
product
Watch,
ever made.
Headphones, phone, laptop, desktop, monitor.
But does it have stainless steel wheels?
Yeah, I got them from Walmart for
Can you
$3.99.
grate cheese with a car?
You can. On the grill. We'll buy the Apple car. I was supposed
The
to drop
Apple car will
2019.
just have the Mac Pro grill on the front.
They would.
The cheese
they
grater
have
thing.
to do that.
It'll charge with lightning.
No, MagSafe.
Just a ginormous MagSafe puck that goes under it.
No, they'll charge with the Vision Pro cable, like the watch charger-ish kind of
Oh
thing.
no. Have you seen that thing on the Vision Pro that says all day battery life when plugged into a wall? It's like of course it would be.
Wow,
it's like
what
the dumbest thing.
what a thought.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
we never really got to the point. If you bought the $50,000 Mac Pro, you cannot develop apps for the Vision Pro.
Because the new Xcode needs Mac Silicon, right?
Yes.
Which is what
That is so
that's so
depressing.
dumb. I mean, look, it is a different architecture, and I don't want to defend Apple, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Developing two completely separate apps for two completely different architectures of processors is not necessarily easy. Like it's trying to develop a Linux app for a Windows app.
Yeah.
Like running something for Mac OS is way different than running something on Windows. I mean, it's not insanely different, but it's just
Right.
different codecs that are installed, different programming languages. It's just a very different experience. Like, and if you're trying to save, like, I don't want to say save money because it's not like Apple needs to save money, but if it's not something they necessarily have to do, they won't do it.
Yeah.
Like if they are all of their stuff right now, all of their products right now are based on Apple Silicon. Why would they go out of their way to develop an app for a different company?
Which they've already phased out.
Essentially.
They've already phased
Yeah.
out all the. But then again, Apple loves to say that they care about their professionals. Everyone
I mean,
who
realistically, for buying an Intel Mac,
blew
you're
through
not really a
50
professional.
grand. I don't think they should have ever released the 2019 Mac Pro. I think they should have bumped up M1 Ultra, like put it out late 2020. Because that's so sad.
Yeah.
There's a headline from The Verge that's really funny. It says X social media is suing X, a social media company. So there's an ad agency apparently called X Social Media, and they are alleging that Twitter, now known as X, is causing marketplace confusion and lost revenue. So they've filed a lawsuit in federal court against Elon Musk's X Corp because they are X Social Media LLC, based in Florida. They're an ad agency. It's such an obscure name. Like, it's just one letter. So it's kind of crazy to think that another business actually has the same obscure name. So we'll see how that plays out. They're not winning. Elon's just going to throw an absurd amount of money at them, and they're going to stop the lawsuit, and everyone's going to be happy.
When did Elon say he was going to develop an app called X?
It was a while ago.
I guarantee you, the only reason they did that
Oh, to get ahead
was
of that?
to get that name, knowing full well Elon Musk was going to develop a social media-esque platform named X, where they could sue the richest man on the planet,
They've been X Social Media since 2016.
which is probably around the time
Yeah,
Elon said
who
that.
knows? If that's the case, then that was a pretty smart move.
That
Just
was-
like the guy who got at X on Twitter,
Uh-huh.
who got it stolen from him and offered merch. Last story, it's Techtober, which means Pixel event. So the Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are out. They're really solid updates.
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed here.
We got leaked a while ago.
We've known all about these crazy updates. But they look really good. They have the same design as the 7 and the 6. The camera bump is slightly changed. It's kind of familiar there. They have a ton of new AI features, which we'll get to. Pixel 6 Pro has a 6.7-inch variable refresh rate, 120 hertz, flat display,
Up to 2,400 nits of peak brightness.
which is the brightest phone in a smartphone.
Yeah.
The iPhone 15 Pro only goes to 2,000. This hits 2,400. We know that that's only going to last like 15 seconds in direct sunlight, but for those 15 seconds, you'll be able to see everything. It has a temperature sensor in it, which is cool. It says you can use it to scan objects like a beverage and a surface temperature.
Like built in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
To scan a beverage is their use case.
It's got a triple rear camera system, so it's got they got a wide lens, ultra wide, and telephoto.
The main camera is now 50 megapixels, which is good.
Compared to what was last year, 42?
I think so. The 5x telephoto lens is now 48 megapixels, which kind of blows the iPhone 15 Pro Maxes out of the water. So we'll see how that stacks
But
up.
also, different brands use megapixels differently. It's really weird. And processing
True.
is so long. Like, Mark has this whole which iPhone or which phone camera thing is the best.
Right.
Yeah.
It has a matte back. Looks really good.
It does look good. It's got 12 gigs of RAM.
Solid. It's $1,000 with 128 gigs of storage. That's kind of the only slightly disappointing thing. The cameras are the biggest part of this. They have a video boost mode, which like blows up the saturation and does a bunch of like video processing to it to make it look better. They compared it to the 15 Pro Max and they straight up said it was better than the best video on a phone.
Wow.
So we will see about that. I think it looks really like over contrasty, but we will see. Android 14 is cool. You have AI generated wallpapers and a bunch of little cool AI stuff. It's all about AI. This phone is like the smartest smartphone you can get.
Yeah, because I mean it's developed by Google. Like what would you think?
Yeah. There is one strange thing about this, and I think it's worth talking about. There's so much AI stuff going on with the camera that it kind of brings back our favorite question. What is a photo? So they have a new feature. They have Magic Editor, which came out last year, that lets you circle something in a photo and it just deletes it. Like Photoshop, but on your phone. Now they have generative AI in Google Photos. And this will allow you to change scenery, move people around in an image, and also when you're taking a photo or video of someone, you can make their heads like face the camera. So it kind of begs the question, is the image that you end up with after all of that still a photo? Are you capturing what actually happened, or is it just like a warped version of...
If you take a photo, it probably saves it as a new photo. Like it saves the original and that photo. So you have your main photo and then an edited photo.
Do we like this though? Do we like changing all your photos to make everyone face the camera to delete stuff? I mean, it's cool,
in a
but
professional-esque sense, yes. Like if you want to take like a wedding photo or something, you get one, and like a little kid isn't looking at the camera, and you wanted to look at the camera, you just be like, "Hey, look at the camera." And it's like, boom, looking at the camera. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think this is bad per se. It like you said, it opens up, like it begs the question, what exactly is a photo that you take?
Because at this point, a photo you take on this phone, if you've done stuff to it, isn't actually what happened. So like, let's just say like in a court hearing, one of these photos were used or something. Like in those kind of situations, I know they're extreme, but like...
And like, I'm assuming there would be a revert to original.
I guess, yeah.
And like metadata and stuff, like that would be debunked, but still, like somebody could try, and it would cause a slight disturbance in the process.
Yeah. It's cool though.
It is cool.
I would say that when you're taking photos like on a family vacation or something, don't edit them a bunch. Like don't replace the sky and make it brighter and turn everyone's face toward you. Just capture the moment. Take a photo. But the phones are really cool. We'll have to go to Best Buy and do hands-on with them, try out Magic Eraser. My uncle is going to get the 8 Pro, so we'll be able to try out the cameras with my 15 Pro Max, see if the video boost is really that good. They're very interesting phones, though. I'm excited to try these.
Me too. You know what's really interesting, though? It's been a while since it came out, but the Ford Mustang Mach-E, we finally got our hands on one.
Yes.
And we were able to review it today.
So thanks to Vandergriff Acura, we got to take a test drive in the Mach-E. We got to drive it around. We got to take some pictures of it. We sat in the frunk, which was kind of cool. And it was pretty fun. Okay, so a few months ago at the auto show, we got to sit in the Mach-E, kind of gave our impressions of the interior. Now we get to drive it. It's not the GT,
So no vroom vroom, but
so it doesn't have like 450 horsepower. I think it has 400,
wow.
or no, like 3 something. But it's quick.
We're gonna find out.
So this is all thanks to Vandergriff Acura. They have this on their lot right now, and they let us test drive it. So we're in whisper mode right now, and we're kind of just easing out of the lot here. It's really quiet.
It's very quiet. I'm impressed,
to be
actually.
expected.
But it is in whisper mode, so we're not in speed
Unbridled mode.
Right.
The one pedal driving is really interesting. So I just let my foot off the, not gas, the accelerator, and then it stops. And then I have to press it again, and then I let off the accelerator, and it stops. And I don't have to press the brake.
Yeah, that is really interesting because no cars have that really as a feature.
I don't hate it. It just takes some getting used to.
I like how comfortable the sounds are. Like the blinker sound is just like a light thud instead of like a beep.
Yeah, and we just got to 25 miles an hour. We didn't hear one thing. The loudest thing was that car passing us.
Yeah.
It's just complete silence. The AC is even on like the second highest mode. So it's kind of cool.
This is a very interesting car.
Yeah, this is Ford's first EV. It has the Mustang name.
Which is it doesn't really make sense because Ford also makes the new 2024 Dark Horse, right?
Yeah.
Which is a Mustang.
That's not this.
Yeah, this isn't a Mustang. This is more of like a Ford Explorer EV.
Right. Much different car. But this is pretty significant just because it's the first EV Ford makes. Ford is a huge legacy U.S. automaker, so it's significant just because it's a Ford.
Yeah.
It feels like a Ford with the interior. It's not that futuristic inside.
But like it's also modern enough to look good.
It's pretty minimal inside. It has the giant screen. It has the little screen for your dash, but it's not crazy.
I actually like this over most EVs. It's very simple, which is nice.
Yeah. The armrest feels good. The quality, it feels like a Ford. The wheel kind of feels like an Escape, if you've ever driven that. It's not super in your face. It's not like a Tesla where you just have the screen and nothing else in the car.
Yeah.
You have a physical dial to switch into drive, reverse, park, all that. You have a physical parking brake, more buttons. It's nice.
And not everything in this car is just software either. Like you said, there's physical switches and buttons for things.
Turn signals.
Yeah.
It's a stock.
Right.
It's not a thing on the yoke that you have to get used to.
Exactly.
It's just natural. It's nice.
I like the fact that Ford is still trying to create cars that people can still know how to drive. Like a Tesla is very different to drive than something like any other car, really.
Yeah.
Because the layout is different. It's all software based. Everything is controlled by software. Where this is motor with some software and a bunch of buttons and stocks and a steering wheel.
Right. It's not as big as a learning curve when you first buy it. We're going over bumps. It feels smooth. It's not overly
Yeah, the suspension
heavy
feels
too.
really nice.
It doesn't feel super heavy.
Gotta just
when
love
you're
pulling
driving
up to the gas pump in an
Yeah,
electric
we're
car.
driving through a gas station just to flex on all the combustion engine people. But
Flex on the homies.
it is pretty nice to drive. Handling wise,
It handles really well. Well, I'm not the one driving, but it feels nice.
going around corners, braking, it all feels tight and controlled. It doesn't feel like, again, it doesn't feel too heavy. You still feel like you have control over it.
So the 22 Ford Mustang Mach-E weighs around 4,500 pounds. So something like, what is the other car that we were in?
The Polestar?
The Polestar weighed roughly the same amount.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, this is also a four-door SUV compared to a four-door sedan.
Kind of impressive.
Yeah, for how well it brakes and handles and how solid the suspension feels.
Yeah, I switched it to unbridled mode. This is a Mustang, so I'll kind of see how that feels. The steering kind of instantly tightened up, which is kind of cool. And then we'll do a little acceleration here up to the speed limit.
Okay.
It's quick.
Wow.
It's pretty quick.
0 to 60 is like 4 seconds probably.
Like I think it's high 4s or something, but it's not as quick as like a Model 3 Performance. Again, the GT version of this is faster, but it's also not slow.
Yeah, this car feels really nice. I can imagine driving this on the highway would be incredibly fun.
Yeah, this is cool, especially in the unbridled mode. If we turn on propulsion sound, that's cool. So it adds a sound when you accelerate.
So you actually get some feedback
You get
besides your
some
head going to the headrest.
Audible feedback. It does pull pretty hard, which is cool. It's not like you're going to be racing this car. It's still an SUV.
Right. That weighs 4,500 pounds.
Exactly. And as we come up to a light, you just let your foot off the pedal and it stops and it's regen and it charges up your battery a little. Kind of like that.
Because it's got active battery regeneration, right?
Yeah.
So when you're rolling, it'll recharge.
Yeah, when you let off the gas, it kind of uses the weight of the car to wind up the wheel thing and charge up the batteries.
It is a little jittery whenever he takes his foot off the gas and without even using the brake.
You can feel it going from like acceleration to regen
Braking.
slowing down.
Yeah.
So
And it's also one pedal drive, so it's braking.
Right. So it's not super smooth in that sense, but
So if we turn
once
off
you get used to it, I'm sure.
So if we turn off one pedal drive, now it's more like a regular car, like take your foot off the gas completely. And it's
And we
less
just
it's
coast.
less of a hard stop and more of a coast.
Yeah. I kind of like
But
that.
also keep in mind, motors don't have idle speeds. So like a combustion engine has an idle, which
Yeah.
will keep you rolling essentially.
This doesn't.
This doesn't, because it's just a motor that responds to electrical
Input.
Yeah.
So overall, what do we think? Ford's first electric
I think
Mustang, technically.
It's a very good first attempt, but wrong name.
Yeah, I don't agree with the
I
Mustang
think they should have
name.
just had a new line of vehicles.
Like the Ford Mach-E,
Right.
not the Mustang. Because eventually, at some point, there will be an electric Mustang two-door coupe.
Sadly.
I'm sure. And that will be the Mustang, E or whatever they decide to call it. It's kind of going to be confusing because this car exists.
Yeah.
But naming scheme aside, I really like this.
Yeah, me too. If I had to pick an EV to own, this would be on the list.
Yeah.
And we'll have a video up on our Instagram too for you to check out.
Yeah, so thanks again to Vandergriff Acura. That was a lot of fun. We'll be doing the Tesla Model 3 pretty soon, so we'll have a audio test drive of that.
And then another video of that.
Right. But that car was a lot of fun.
It was
fun. It
fun.
kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
It's been out for a while, but it was buttery smooth to drive.
was.
And it was pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. And only 11,000 miles for being a year old.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that has under 300 horsepower, and it still felt that quick.
The torque on that thing was crazy.
Imagine a Plaid. I still cannot imagine.
It beat a Bugatti
how
in a 0 to
fast
200. In a 0 to 200, a Model S Plaid track pack beats
We've got to try
Bugatti.
that. We've got to try that car. If you're out there and you have a Model S Plaid
And a Bugatti.
and a Bugatti, we'd love to drag
Actually,
race.
or a Bugatti,
And-
honestly.
Yeah, you don't have to have both, just one.
We would gladly review your Bugatti for you.
If you have any of those cars, you can reach out to us on the platform with the most overheating drama. Twitter/X, I'm at Utterly Drew.
And I'm at Cold WW Web.
And we will see you in 2 weeks.
See you guys.